Hello students, my name is Moon, and this is my class pre-survey results. Remember the pre-survey results that I asked all of you to take at the beginning of the semester, and I said you have about until the first midterm to get them in so that I can accumulate all of your answers. Well, here they are. Scroll down. So I know this section, don't pay attention to the section number at the top of the screen. This is true for your section, no matter where you are, as long as you're watching this video. But all of you had this pre-survey here in the content list. And here it is, the results. Once again, the results for your section will be named appropriately. It's not G4 for you, it is whatever section you are in. But if you click on it, it's a PDF file, and you can see not just what you answered, but what your other classmates answered. For example, 7 of you in this class out of the 25 that started answered, and here are the totals. And you can see that I cannot see who said what. It was truly anonymous. And here are like your answers from I am healthy to I try to be healthy, all the way down. I exercise regularly, I'm careful of the foods, I see my doctor as often as recommended, how comfortable you are with health matters, and how often you read health news. So you can see where your answer would have fallen in this. You know what if I took these things and turned them on the side? They would look like bell curves. So here it is again. Now, why do these bell curves look so weird? Because there are only 7 here. So that is an issue about what about research when there's only 7, not thousands? What kind of a bias is that? Sample bias. Very good. And in order to get a proper reading of the population as a whole, I'd have to run this survey dozens, if not hundreds of times. But that's not the point. Getting the population sample is not the point. Getting this class is the point. So for those of you who are motivated enough to answer the survey, and then this is you have to self-select to be part of this survey. I'm talking like it's research, but again, remember in the instructions of the pre-survey, I said your answers will not be used in research. It will not be shared with anybody, well, except that the people who are watching this video are watching this right now. But I'm not getting any conflict of interest bias. I'm not getting any profit or other consideration, other than I want to share your results with you, with the rest of this class. Okay, and then there are some other answers from the essays that are all the way at the bottom. So for those of you who wrote something in the essay parts of the survey, here are your results. I'm not going to share those with the video audience because chance that something might be identifiable. So, but you can read it of your other classmates. I just want to leave with this one because these questions may have hit you as a little bit odd, the way it's phrased, like this one. Sometimes I feel like I do not belong in college, university. I am afraid I'm not really smart, and one day everybody will figure it out. All the things I achieved, I think, are just because I was lucky that I didn't reserve it, or I'm at the right time, at the right place for me, and I'm ready to do my best. The first 3 are signs or symptoms of what's called imposter syndrome. And the reason why I put this one in here in the survey is so that you can see that you are not alone. I made it possible for you to select more than one or all of them. So just because somebody pick the last one doesn't mean they're not also feeling the other 3. And this is to show you that you are not alone. Imposter syndrome is a real thing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Lots of people suffer from it, feel it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. It's just what you think of yourself. So I'm here to say you're not alone. Other people feel the same way, but it doesn't hold them back. It doesn't hold them back from trying their best, doing their best, and overcoming and succeeding with whatever it is they're trying to do. Imposter syndrome, I really want to say a little more about that, but let me first finish out this pre-survey here. So these pre-survey results are here, and you saw how I got to it. No matter what section, what class you are taking with me as your teacher, then they'll always be in the same place in the nav bar under pre-survey here. Can you see my mouse? Yeah. And then you just scroll down to the results. Okay, so before I leave this topic completely about imposter syndrome, remember this one, study tips? I uploaded this on the first week of the semester for those of you who might be interested in some extra advice about how to study. Well, I expected that not many would look at it, not many would watch the video, because it was early in the semester. Everybody had high hopes, everybody had good feelings about the start of a semester, but we're now more than a third done. We're almost a half done, and we had the first midterm exam. Well, it's due tomorrow, so for most of you took it, thank you, but there are a few of you who have still not yet taken it. And now that you've seen the results of your quizzes and your midterm exam, the first one, some of you may start to be sweating, and now you're extra motivated to go back here and listen to what I had to say. So let's go to study tips. Here's the video on my YouTube channel, and that has me going through this slideshow. I'm not going to go through this slideshow again. That's what the video exists for. But I want to scroll all the way down to near the bottom, because here it is, the imposter syndrome. So here were the three statements that I asked you to evaluate. And then the imposter syndrome, or as this definition goes, as a collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist despite evidence of success. Despite evidence of success. You can feel this way even though you're doing a bang-up job. You're doing great, but you don't feel like you're doing great. Why not? Because you're holding yourself to a higher standard, which may not be realistic. You may be expecting too much of yourself above and beyond what is reasonably expected of somebody in your situation. So, despite the evidence of success, chronic self-doubt and a sense of intellectual fraudulence, not actual fraudulence, okay, don't do that, but feelings of fraudulence. And then, so, not only you can feel this way, but teachers feel this way, CEOs, executives feel this way, politicians feel this way. Whenever you put higher standards on yourself than is reasonable for somebody in your situation, you're telling yourself why you no get A, even though that is what above, far and beyond what is satisfactory. So this is my own personal thoughts, but it sounds a lot like the opposite of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, this goes back to week 2 of basic sciences, where you see people on the internet especially who present themselves like experts, subject matter experts, but the way they say, the way they talk, the way they explain things, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They are some kind of armchair general making crap stuff and then feeling so confident and proud of themselves. So it seems that the less people know about a complicated subject, the more confident they are in their opinions. And that is a Dunning-Kruger effect, and that's what you see on internet comments. And it could be something like an iceberg, where the tip of the iceberg is a small part and makes it look like the navigational hazard is minor. But the reality is that most of the iceberg is below the surface, cannot be seen. And sailors, expert captains, know that if you see a little bit of an iceberg on the surface, it means there's a very real danger to their ship lurking under the water. So the people who know less about a topic, they only see the tip of the iceberg on the surface. They think it's small. They think the topic is easy to understand. But experts who've been there, done the thing, walked the walk as well as talked the talk, they've been to the bottom of the iceberg. They know how deep it gets. They know what a danger it really is. They come back up to the surface and say, actually, we are in danger and we need to move back. But the people on the surface, the landlubber say, I see what I see, I know what I'm talking about, and they're overconfident. Well, now let's flip it upside down. The people who, what about the people who haven't understood or seen the entire iceberg, but they see a lot of it under the water, and they just know that there's way more than meets the eye? Now, they feel inadequate. As much as they know, they feel like what they know is inadequate to compared to, say, knowing everything. Even if somebody tries to explain to them, nobody can know everything. But that's not an acceptable solution or answer. They just know that they don't know everything. So when somebody asks them for their opinion, they are probably the most qualified person in the room, or the most qualified person on the earth to give that opinion. But they, in comparison to their ideal, are thinking, actually, I don't know enough. And they hem and they haw and they qualify and they stutter, and they don't project a persona of confidence, and the other people around them perceive it as like inadequacy. So that's the flip side of the Dunning-Kruger effect, which may be what's contributing to the imposter syndrome. So what do you do if you're feeling this way? Well, first of all, there is the possibility that you really are that unprepared, which means you got to up your game. You got to try harder. You got to study harder. You got to work harder. There's no excuse. There's no supplement for working hard. But as long as you're doing that, then you should understand that there may be this thing going on, and you can't stop from feeling that. But the very least, what you can do is not let it hold you back, not let it make you deny opportunities that come along your way. Somebody knows you, they know how good you are, they have a business opportunity, well, maybe not so, but like a promotional opportunity, they have something that is really up your alley, it's good for you, and it's going to give you a raise, it's going to give you a promotion, and they say, would you like to apply for this? And if this really is good for you, if this is just the kind of thing that fits your personality and skill set and experience, go for it, grab it. Don't say, oh, I'm not good enough. Don't do that. A positive mental attitude is reach for it. So how do we translate it here to this class right now? Don't hold yourself back and not study thinking that you're not good enough for this class. The fact that you're here means you're good enough. The fact that you made it this far means you're good enough. Look at your first midterm exam grades. You didn't fail it. You're good enough to be here. You're not perfect, but so neither am I. We can always get better. So keep trying, work hard, and use those feelings of imperfection in yourself as a motivator to push harder. And that is my thoughts on the imposter syndrome as it applies to the pre-survey. Are there any questions? Then I'm going to stop the recording.